Welcome to another edition of the Mo Show Live, everybody. Hey, it's Morris Lilienthal. All right. I always enjoy my shows. I highlight lots of great guests and have lots of great topics, but some of my favorite shows are shows talking about sports. And if you follow me on social, I'm kind of a sports nut and enjoy going to sporting events and attending events. And some of the sporting events that I've really enjoyed and cherished and going to with Wyatt over the last 4, 5, 6 years have been the UAH basketball games. And so I'm excited. This will be the third year that I've had the UAH basketball seniors on the show. So I'm super excited to have these guys on to talk a little bit about their careers, talk a little about some memories and some things about transitioning from high school to college and how COVID affected their seasons like everybody else. And then talk about what's next and see what's going on with these guys as they'll be graduating UAH here soon. So, folks, our guests today are Seth Swalve and Kaplan up in square number 1 on the right up there. We've got Riley Webster there, Sam Orff, Jack Kline, and Kerney Lane. Guys, thanks so much for taking time today. I know you guys got a lot going on and doing. So, you guys all doing okay today?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Awesome. Folks, if you're watching the show live on Facebook or over on Twitter and you've got a question, then just pop it in the comments below. I'll see it here, and the administrative screen I've got, we'll get the question out to the guys and make sure we can try to answer any questions. If you are watching the show recorded like a lot of people do, I'll monitor the comments out and we'll try to get some answer any questions you may have afterwards. And then if you're listening to the podcast, then you can always come back to the actual video shows and leave some questions or comments there or on the YouTube channel. So I guess I'd start, one of the things that and I see this when I've been following you guys, and I see the freshmen come in every year. And I remember when you guys first got to UAH and I remember from when I was transitioning playing football from high school to college, that's a big jump. And you guys, for folks that aren't maybe aware, UAH is a Division II program and a perennial top 25, top 15 program in the country, and they play in one of the best conferences in the Gulf South Conference. So this is very, very, very competitive basketball with some really good programs year in, year out. And so I'm kind of curious from each of you guys, maybe talk to me a little bit about what that transition was like and what was difficult, whether it was, getting in shape or physical, the physicality of the league, or maybe it was learning the schemes. I know y'all run a Princeton style offense that is very fun to watch, but I know very detailed and a lot of passing. So, Riley, we'll just start with you. What was it like getting started for you in transitioning from high school to college?
I think the most difficult thing was actually trying to figure out that every single guy that's coming in is just as good or better than you. So actually trying to see that you're probably not the best player on the court and all eyes aren't on you. You got a bunch of guys around you that just as competitive, that have earned their spot just like you. Learning the offense was tough, but once you get it, it's a lot of fun to be able to play in that game. I think for me coming in, the group of guys that I had, minus Sam, it made it a lot easier because we all clicked pretty quick. So I think that helped out the most.
Yeah, no doubt. And I can tell from just afar from watching you guys going to games and seeing you guys interacting on social media, you guys get along and click well, which really makes it that much easier to bond and to pull together during tough times and tough practices and road trips and that kind of thing. Seth, what about you?
Definitely learning the offense was probably the biggest jump because not only do you have to know it so well that you know what's going to happen next based off, reads and stuff, but with the speed of the game, you don't have time to sit there and think. So just being comfortable enough to play freely within that offense. It took my whole redshirt year to get comfortable with that. So that was definitely the biggest challenge.
Yeah, I can see that with regard to not you, not being joking there, but I'm talking about the cuts. You guys are cutting and moving. The ball is just moving like that. If you've ever watched UAH play, the ball does not stop. And when it stops, then one of the coaches is yelling to get the ball moving. JJ, what about you?
I would say for me, it was the weight room, like how big these dudes are. Coming from high school and playing in college, like I was going against Justin Ward and Riley's brother, and they were big. And after the first pickup session, I came home to my dad and I said, we're going to need to get in the weight room like right now. And then on top of that, probably just figuring out like prioritizing your time with school and basketball and not spend too much time in the gym because then classes fail, and then not spending too much time in the classroom because then you start playing a little bit worse. So just figuring that out. But I would say that would be the hardest for me.
Yeah, well, that's no doubt, and I know that a lot of people that I've talked to that UAH is a great academic university, and you guys have a lot of expectations from that perspective, and so trying to balance that I know is tough, especially when you're coming in. Sam, what about you?
The offense and the weight room, that was tough, but these guys did a great job of kind of welcoming me and accepting me and helping me out. Besides that, I would say like you said, our league is a pretty tough league, so the speed of the game, and some nights we're going up against 23, 24, 25-year-olds, and I'm 18, so you just got to get used to that speed, that physicality, and real fast. So I'd say that was probably the toughest part. Some of these guys are just older, they're stronger, they're faster, and just getting used to that and trying to compete with them.
Yeah. Well, I'm imagine, and Riley kind of touched on this earlier, I would imagine this is probably true for all you guys. To play at this upper echelon of Division II basketball, you guys were probably all the best or right at one of the best players, not only in your team, but probably in your area or region, whatever you called it at your high school. And so to come in and everybody on the team is like that or better, that's probably a rude awakening. Jack, what about you?
I agree with what everyone said so far. Kind of to echo Riley, coming from high school, like what you just said, you're all kind of the best player in your area. And for me, it was just kind of taking my body more seriously. Like being a talented player in high school, not really having to really hone in on getting your body right and ready to play at the next level. After my redshirt year and coming in throughout that year, I just I was a little overweight, and I just put it upon myself and talk with Coach Acuff, to really get my body right and get in the weight room and kind of cut some of that extra weight off. And that was probably the biggest adjustment I had to make when I came in here.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like I said, the physicality of the league and the speed of the league, and you guys see some great players and some players that a lot of times you think, why aren't they at a Division I school? Either they were and they transferred down, or something happened, or somebody just missed on them, and they're just a real stud. Kerney, what about you?
Yeah, I'd have to agree with what everyone said. But to add, like you said, pace of play is definitely a massive change from high school and AAU and everything. Everyone's just so good, and the just pace is so high. But one thing that I also thought was, in terms of games are just, they mean so much more, and there's so much more preparation that goes into those games than I've experienced in high school or anything like that. So I just say that's one thing, that every game is a very big game, and we prepare like it's the championship every single game. So we have a huge scouting report, and we practice days in advance of getting ready for their team and their scout and stuff like that. So that's something that is a huge change, and that's part of the game. That's obviously have to be ready physically and all of that, but definitely the mental aspect of the game is a huge step up.
That's a good point. We hadn't touched on that, and that's why I always enjoy listening to everybody's perspective. But I would imagine in high school you guys may have had a little bit of a scouting report, but there probably wasn't a whole lot of film study and a big scouting reports like you guys are getting ready to go play Delta State or somebody, and you guys would know everything, kind of know what they're looking at and doing, and that's probably a big shift, I'm sure. Folks, if you're just joining us, we are our guests today are the UAH men's basketball seniors, and we're talking about their careers, and we're talking about the transition from high school to college and what that was like for these guys. And guys, I just kind of was doing just a quick little research before we went live today, and looking at the last 4 years that you guys have been in the program. You guys have been to 3 NCAA tournaments. This past year, you made it to the Sweet 16, one Gulf South Conference championship. According to the website, you were 81-29 over the last 4 years, and 51-22 in the Gulf South Conference. Meaning, you guys have put it out there. You guys have done a great job and really worked hard and had a really successful career. I'm curious, what's your perspective, having been in the league and played at this level of Division II basketball, from what separates UAH and not just you guys? Obviously, you guys, the players are a large part of it. But what do you see when you reflect, without naming names of other universities and things? But why do you think y'all's program has been so successful and so successful with? Coach Acuff had been there so long, and then, he has an opportunity to move on, and then Coach Schulman comes in, and you guys just keep the train rolling. And so that's a testament really to the program and a testament to you guys, the players in the program. But we'll just start at the bottom this time. Sam, what do you think maybe separates UAH to continue that level of success?
I think it's just the togetherness that we have. I don't think there's a lot of programs where everyone loves each other as much as we do. We're always hanging out. We're always together. And there's also that aspect of UAH has a tradition, and we want to carry on that tradition. Mm-hmm. So Coach Acuff used to talk about that a lot, to play for the guys that came before you, to kind of uphold that. And that was just something that we had in our mind every day. We were going to work hard for everyone that was around us, and we're just here for each other.
Yeah, I like that. And that's so true. I mean, you look at all the guys that you played with and some of the guys that I know that played with you guys, maybe when you first got on the team that were seniors in the last several years, those guys had some tremendous teams as well. And to be able to keep that going and not let those guys down, you don't want to be the team that lets the program down there, to say. Jack, what about you? What do you think separates UAH that kind of makes UAH a little special and to be able to continue to have such success year after year?
Yeah, just kind of to echo. I mean, I feel like we're all going to have pretty similar answers, but to echo what Sam said, it's just the culture we have here. It just means more, to wear that UAH jersey. It's something that the culture started, Coach Acuff, and we continued on through our assistant coaches and Coach Schulman. And something that really stuck out to me, something that Coach Acuff used to really say a lot was kind of the old guys help out the young guys and show them the way. Because when you get here, you don't really know what to expect. You don't know what college ball is like, and you don't know, how to manage your time, or how to, take care of your body, or work out on the court, or whatever it may be. But I just remember those seniors that were there when we were red shirts, and they just kind of took us under their wing and showed us the way. And I think we really, took it upon ourselves this past year and even last year as upperclassmen, just kind of show the young guys the way so they can continue to carry on the tradition that guys set before we even got here.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. And you can see that in the camaraderie and how you guys are, I can see every year when the new season starts, I would notice some of the younger guys, you guys kind of picking those guys up, and kind of looks like you're kind of maybe each adapt or take one or two under your wing. Kerney, anything you want to add different than what Sam or Jack was saying, that from your perspective, what makes UAH so special?
Yeah, I would have to say definitely the buy-in. They've kind of referenced it, but the buy-in, just like from the second the season's over, the previous season, like 2 weeks after that, we are back to championship mentality, and every single workout and practice and pickup and session, everything is all for that next March, and that, because that's what we're all about. We're all about winning. So I think that's something that separates us, is that every day we're trying to win in March. And so I think that's just not the same at other places. Like, other people are still getting players in the summer, like they're still acquiring their team, and we're already practicing for the next year. So I think that's something that puts us in a great position the next year.
Yeah, and it seems like I noticed, and I can't cite to any specific team in the conference, but you guys, and it's not to say you don't have somebody transfer in here or there, but for the most part, people that come in as freshmen, and they're there through the 4 or 5 years that they're in the program, and that really allows you guys to mesh and build that bond you guys have been talking about since we started talking. JJ, what about you? What do you think? Anything to add to that or your perspective on it?
I think just the main thing is culture, but I'll take a deeper dive into it. I think it's our why. We do it for the culture of UAH. I didn't work hard for myself because I wanted all these accolades. I worked hard because I thought that was going to give us the best chance to win X amount of games, championships, like the dudes who did it before me. I didn't want to be the one who let it down and wasn't a winner at UAH. I just think it's so special that these dudes, I think, especially Riley and Jack, early in their careers, they didn't get playing time. And these days you see dudes leave that program and say, oh, no, coach, blah, all this. And there might be other reasons, but I think when you get dudes like them who stick it out and make us better in practice, and then really show up late in the season like they did this year. I mean, it's such a special place, and you don't really see it that often. And I'm very lucky to have teammates like that.
Yeah, 100%. Something else, it's funny, interesting getting to watch you guys play. And I know you guys, I'm sure you noticed this over the years, but you come watch you guys play, and one night Sam might have, the most points or kind of stand out that night. And then it's like you don't really notice JJ or Seth much on the court, and they're just kind of blended in or not, having a standout game. And then you come the next weekend or the next week, and it's totally opposite. Somebody else does that, or somebody, you see a game, and then Riley's in the game all of a sudden, and he's popping off a couple of threes or something, and it's really neat because a lot of times, especially in basketball, usually there's a dominant person or two player that's generally the scorer, somebody that stands out game in, game out, and you go into the game and you're like, all right, watch out for this guy or that guy because he's usually going to be the one they got to shut down. And with you guys, it really wasn't that way. Seth, what do you think? Anything else to add to what JJ and the others were saying?
Kind of like what Kerney said. Each workout, each practice, pickup, every time in the weight room, we have a championship mindset, and there's just a standard for each of those times that we come together. Or if you're in there by yourself, and it's really good when a team can have coaches that uphold that. But it's really special when you have players and teammates that hold each other accountable and make sure that you're putting the work in, and the quality of work is is up to the standard, and everyone can get on board with that.
Yeah, agree. So Riley, what do you got?
I think the main thing is we kind of know what's expected of us. I think all the other teams are kind of trying to chase what we have. So it's kind of back to going like what the old guys did and not letting them down, but also we know what's expected of us. We're supposed to be in the top of the league. We're supposed to finish high every year. So it's at the same time we got all the other teams chasing us, and it's kind of just holding our ground.
Yeah, that kind of, I don't want to draw any Auburn, Alabama lines here, but it's kind of the kind of the process that you always heard for years now with Coach Saban, and that is you guys have a process that has a mainstay there, and there's a level of mentality and championship level of mentality, and that is kind of ingrained in you, and like it or not, at least my experience in sports has been, you see some teams that maybe they have some good players, but for some reason their mentality is not there, or they just can't seem to get over their own shoes and do. And I can remember it's probably 2 seasons ago, I guess it was 3 maybe, probably when most of you, some of you guys were really starting to play a lot. I remember going to a home game and taking my father-in-law, who had been a high school basketball coach for 25 years, and I was just, but Coach, you're going to love all this. You're going to love the game and all this kind of stuff. And you guys were getting smoked by like 20-something points. I was probably 5 minutes, into the second half, and then all of a sudden it just switched. And I don't remember who it was, to be honest, but it was somebody in the league, and you guys came back and won. And it was just a tremendous effort and a dedication of not giving up, because most programs, that mentality that we're talking about, you'd have just checked out. That's just one game of 30 games you're going to play in the season. We're down by 20 points in the second half. Just let's just cash it in. But you guys, I've seen that over and over and over and again. I saw that at one of the recent Gulf South Conference tournament games at home this year. You guys were really getting pushed and doing it in a couple of those games, and you just stuck with it. So the next thing I kind of wanted to touch on was you guys, your end of last year, and then certainly the whole year this year was tremendously impacted by COVID, and certainly. Sports was a minor impact for around the world, considering what everybody's been through and what the impact that COVID's had. But from a sports perspective, which is what we're talking about today, you guys were on a roll last year going into the tournament, and then had the tournament, just pulled out from underneath you, like everybody else in D2 and D1 did. And then this year, for people who may not are aware, you guys had to cut your season down, weren't playing near as many games, and ended up playing just a conference schedule, which a lot of respects made it a lot tougher. But you didn't, had games canceled and then last minute canceled, and you're playing back to back and a little bit more endurance and that kind of thing. So talk a little bit about how, and we'll just, instead of maybe just going around the room like that, just anybody wants to jump in, Talk a little bit about how the mentality with that, because to me, typically last year, your junior, sophomore, freshman seasons, like Kerney was talking about earlier with game plans and reports, you got it set and do. You're playing Delta next weekend, or you're playing Christian Brothers, and you're going to be driving up to Tennessee and doing all that. And then all of a sudden it changes, and maybe you go a week and a half, 2 weeks without playing. That's got to really impact, your preparation and your mentality. Talk a little bit about how you guys overcame that to have such a tremendous regular season this year. Who wants to jump in? Just go ahead.
I got it.
Go ahead.
I can go. I would just have to say, like, kind of like what I said, buy-in. Like, every game, what?
Nothing go.
You got it, Karen.
Yep.
I would have to say that every game kind of just really mattered more. And it's like every game, since like you said, every game, like you have no idea what's going to happen next week. So that's why every game was like, hey, we have to win this game. We have to go like all out, just because we have no idea what the future holds. So I think that's why we were also so successful this year, is because we just said, hey, and we also have a game tomorrow. So like we have to win both these. And like we were just all about sweeping every weekend. And that's what we did. So that's a huge reason why I think we're so successful this year.
Yeah, no doubt. It's preparation and mentality, I would think, and the culture that you guys have built, and just being ready to on a dime. And I mean, to a testament that you guys, started off the season, with a kind of a pickup game against one of the premier programs in the country, and unfortunately, took one on the chin there, but then you turned right back around and then just went on a long winning streak. And so that, to me, that kind of speaks volumes there. Anybody else, have anything else to add? Anything else you thought that allowed you guys to really overcome these things, or anything that Coach Schulman or Coach Camara or anybody did that kind of helped you kind of focus and stay focused during this kind of really crazy times?
Yeah.
Same.
One of the toughest things for me personally was the back-to-backs that we would have each weekend. You usually only see that in the conference tournament. I remember our first weekend after we played Lincoln Memorial, we're playing Union. We played Friday night, and I had a pretty good game. I played a lot of minutes, and Coach Ant, after the game, he was like, all right, you going to be ready tomorrow at 1? And that was just something that we had to get used to. You're playing like 15 hours later, you know what I mean? So you just had to kind of forget about what had just happened. You got to make sure you're bringing it the next day, because you got 2 conference games back to back. They're so important.
Yeah, and that's a toll on your body. And as we talked about earlier on, for people who may not have gotten a chance to watch you guys play in the program play much, it's wide open. I mean, you guys are up and down the court. They score a basket, and before they're getting back on defense, Sam or Seth pushing the ball right back up the court, and you're right back into your offense again. And so it's wide open, and you guys are subbing so a lot, because a lot of people are playing because how fast y'all move and do. So I'm sure that was a tremendous, effort to get ready and do. And, I'm sure you guys have great facilities and do, but it's not, trying to play back to back if you're in the, you're driving on buses and do, you're not flying on private jets to these games and do. So riding on charter buses and stuff, I remember those days, and it's not glorious, but you enjoy it, and you have a good time with your teammates and do, but that's a lot. Anybody else got anything else to add that you thought that did?
Yeah, I do. I think, especially what Sam said, like the physical part of back-to-backs is tough. And one thing that I thought we did really well was like the mental part of playing back-to-backs. And we really wanted to win that first game because like most teams would think, oh, we beat them on Friday, like it'll be a breeze Saturday. But we knew if we could like beat them Friday, our mentality wasn't changing for Saturday. Like we were going to play the exact same and act like we've never beaten them, So.
Guest appearance. Yeah, but that's true though. And, and you would see that, and it would be funny because you guys would just battle the next night, and it could be a completely different game with the next night when y'all played somebody. You might win by 15 or 20, and then you're scrapping out to win by 1 point in the second game the next day. And it's a testament to you guys, and it's a testament to the league that how strong the league is in doing that. I want to kind of make sure I be mindful of your time, and last couple of things here that I want to jump around and get to. Maybe I'll just kind of ask this. Any favorite memory or something that sticks out real quick? And then I want to ask you guys, what's next for each of you, for everybody watching. What's something that sticks out? I mean, whether it's something funny or a moment where you had a great game or something that sticks out that just is like, man, that, when I think about my career right now, with that game against whoever, or the road trip and we had a blowout in the tour big bus or something, I don't know. I mean, I remember stuff from my days, and a lot of it wasn't even games. It was just hanging out with my teammates. Kerney, what about you? Anything that sticks out, or a funny moment, or a game that you look fondly back on right now?
I would say just what comes straight to mind is last year when we went to West Alabama. That was a big game, just in our season, and we played really, really well, and we ended up winning. And it's really tough to win there. And I just remember everyone in the locker room just like realizing that we were good. I think that was kind of a turning point of the season, saying, hey, like we're actually a good team. We have a chance of doing something special. And so that was just a really cool memory for us. And that locker room was just a very cool locker room, and just how excited everyone was. And so that's a really good memory of mine.
Yeah, that's cool. Jack, what about you? Anything that sticks out? Anything that you kind of look back on, either a memory of a game or a practice or something funny or whatever?
I mean, there's so many memories, but the one that just keeps coming to my mind is the last game we won against Lee down in Valdosta. I've played with Riley since we were 11 years old. We were on the same travel basketball team growing up. Me, him, and Will Acuff. Coach Acuff was the coach of that team. So I'd known Riley for forever, and just to see him, as that game got a little tighter in the second half, they're starting to creep back in. Riley was just hitting some really huge shots for us and kind of just keeping that lead at bay. And it was just really special to see him, hit those shots. And just because I've been playing with him for so long. And but there's so many memories. It's hard to name one, but that's just one that came right to mind.
That's awesome. That's cool. And it's cool that you would think your teammate that way too. Sam, what about you? Anything that sticks out?
Off the court, I'm gonna give a shout out to LT here. He's one of our players. Obviously, he didn't play very much, but he was, someone that we were always hanging out with. He made the bus rides a ton of fun, team meals a ton of fun. He was always like, hey, whose house are we going to watch the NBA game? Who, when are we doing this? When are we doing that? And he was just so much fun to be around, and he just made all of us laugh. And he's hanging out with him and these guys is just something that we'll all remember forever. So
100%. I mean, you guys, when you get old like me in 20 years, you're going to be in whatever the popular social media groups are then, or apps and texting. When I text with about half a dozen of my teammates, and it's like 20 years ago, we're right back into each other's face, giving each other grief and doing it. And I know you guys are going to be the same way for the rest of your lives. Seth, what about you, man? Anything sticks out?
A lot like Kerney's. Mine would be at Delta. It was a game. It was our sophomore year, and a lot of people didn't think we were going to be good that year. We weren't even sure we were going to be good. Of course, we thought we were good, but most other people didn't at the time. And UAH hadn't won at Delta in a very long time. I think it was, if anybody knows. Yeah, it was a bunch of years. It was a long time. So for us to go in there and get that win on the road was it was pretty special. And I remember there's a video of Kerney getting to the locker room first, and he's in there jumping around celebrating. And obviously we're in there shortly after to celebrate with him. But the look on his face kind of says it all, how we were feeling.
That's awesome. That's really cool. JJ, what about you? What stands out?
This is gonna be weird, but I'm gonna miss the pickup sessions, just with the guys, because kind of going back to what Kerney said, like that championship mentality. Like even during pickup, I mean, if you weren't on my team or you weren't on Sam's teams or you were on the opposite team, like you really did not like the other people that day. And it's just because, I mean, a testament to how bad we wanted to win and how competitive we were. But on top of that, that pickup, I'm going to miss those moments right after pickup where, like, you knew it was just basketball, and Seth, Jax, and Kerney and I would all come back to the house, and it would be kind of that awkward silence about, like, not liking each other for a little bit. And then someone would break in and be like, hey, do you guys want to go get dinner? And we would sit at the dinner table and, laugh and just talk about what happened that day. And that's something I'm really going to miss a lot.
That's cool. And those are great memories. But that's a testament to you guys as competitors, and that you're out there iron sharpening iron out there in those pickup games, and he might be your teammate, really, but at that moment he's not your teammate, and you want to bury his nose in it and put one in his eye or block it, block his shot, or and as Sam does sometimes, let him know he blocked his shot and do. But
you thought he was bad in games. I promise you, he's a lot worse when no one's watching, and it's just the team. I promise.
Riley, what about you, bud? What sticks out? You got one memory or a time or something like that you're going to miss?
I think my favorite memory would be last year after we won the conference championship, and Coach T gets up on the ladder, and I don't remember exactly what he said, but he just starts screaming something at us, and like just chills just start running through your body. Just like that little man just up there just screaming at you, making you go crazy. And it was just one of those moments where it just still gives you chills to this day.
Yeah. I've got to imagine too, you guys sitting in the room waiting on the NCAA announcements and getting to see that, even if you know you're going to be in the tournament, just hearing y'all's names called and having that satisfaction of all that work you guys have put in has really come to fruition, and now you get an opportunity to go lay it on the line, with the best teams in the country, and that's got to be cool too. Well, I want to wrap up, guys. Our guests today are the UAH men's basketball seniors, and I want to kind of wrap up just real quick roundtable, ask what's next after school. And so, whether going on to continue education or work or, whatever else or do, just quick, give me 1 minute recap. Riley, what do you got coming on deck next after school at UAH? I
am transferring to Alabama A&M. And I'm going to be on the golf team there. I'm going to get my master's in business. So go Bulldogs, I guess I can say right now.
Yes, sir.
Awesome, man. Well, that's awesome. That's congratulations. And before we went live, Riley confirmed that he was by far the best golfer on the team. So
that's not close.
That's true.
I asked him, was anybody else? He said it wasn't close. JJ, what about you? JJ, what's next?
I am going overseas to play in Israel. So probably leave here in mid-August or early September. Season starts October. I'm about to sign with an agent I'm deciding between two right now, but I think I decided which one I'm going with, and I'll tell him in about like 3 days. Just kind of get the ball rolling there.
Mazel tov. Congratulations, man. That's awesome. Seth, what about you?
I'm looking to play too. I don't have quite a connection as JJ does, so I'm still looking for an agent or a team, and I'm not going to be picky on where or, for how much it is, but I just want to play. So just chasing that dream.
Well, that's awesome, man. You guys are young. You guys are great players, and do it now while you've got the opportunity to explore that options. Because, hey, you never know. People from UH go on to play in the NBA. So, Sam, what about you? What's next?
So, looking to play. I actually signed with an agent last week. I'm just excited. Obviously, nothing's gonna come up probably till the summer, but I'm just excited to start this new process. So,
well, that's awesome. Good luck. Good luck with that. I know you're gonna work your tail off on it. Jack, what do you got next?
Currently looking for a job in accounting. I'm about to get my master's in accounting, so looking for a job at a CPA firm and a place to live. Want to be in Huntsville, so just. About to transition to the real world and, get off mom and dad's payroll, So it's exciting and scary at the same time.
It is, and as a parent, I'm looking forward to that day. And but yeah, the UAH alumni, if you're out there and you've got a contact for some in the accounting world, hook Jack up. Kerney, what's next, bud?
I'm looking to get into an athletic department. So I'm currently in the searching process. I've got a lot of phone call interviews set up, stuff like that. So I'm really looking to do that. I just had such a good experience myself, so I'm just trying to emulate that for someone else. So.
Well, that's awesome. Well, I know, I can attest that, coming and watching you play, I can see how much your game grew and how much more athletic you got and how much more comfortable you got with the ball in your hand. And I know that you're a hard worker and that you're going to transition well to being a coach and do. Guys, thank you so much for your time today. And certainly, folks, I want to encourage you that if you are in the Huntsville area or you're in the Gulf South Conference area, go out and watch UAH's men's basketball program. It is a great foundation that these guys and a lot of their predecessors have laid down, and it's going to continue, I'm sure. And I know they're excited to see what the program has out in front of them, and hopefully a lot more championships and a lot more success. But guys, I want to wish you the best of luck, and I want to thank you for a lot of great memories. I've had a lot of great memories coming to watch you guys play selfishly and carry my son and whatnot. Really want to wish you guys the best of luck. So thank you guys so much. If I can ever be of help to any of you, let me know. But guys, thanks so much and good luck, guys.
Thank you.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for having me, Paul.
Thank you.
Absolutely.